Good is the enemy. I learned early in my Christian journey that good does not mean godly. Many good things in life could make us stray from God's path. The devil knows this. So, this deceptive design of devices to ensnare those who are ignorant of his diabolic schemes sometimes comes in ways you would least expect. But what I do, I will also continue to do, that I may cut off the opportunity from those who desire an opportunity to be regarded just as we are in the things which they boast. For such are false apostles, deceitful workers, transforming themselves into apostles of Christ. And no wonder, for Satan himself transforms himself into an angel of light. Therefore, it is no great thing if his ministers also transform themselves into ministers of righteousness, whose end will be according to their works. 2 Corinthians chapter 11, verses 12 to 15. A situation or person may look good and may even seem godly, but isn't. Therefore, we must be on alert at all times because the devil is like a roaring lion prowling around and looking to see whom to devour. Notice that he is like a lion, but he isn't. He might be acting like a lion, but Jesus is the Lion of Judah. So we must resist the devil by standing firm in the faith. We must also know Jesus well to recognize when the enemy is imitating him. Federal agents in the United States do not study counterfeit money, but rather they learn everything about real money to quickly observe when it doesn't fit the bill. This is what we need to do regarding knowing God. Hence, when something looks like it is good and it is from God, but isn't, we'll promptly know it is the devil's deviation from his plan and purpose. However, if we're caught in the devil's trap, it could be very problematic. Then the serpent said to the woman, "You will not surely die, for God knows that in the day you eat of it, your eyes will be opened, and you will be like God, knowing good and evil." So when the woman saw that the tree was good for food, that it was pleasant to the eyes, and a tree desirable to make one wise, she took its fruit and ate. She also gave it to her husband with her, and he ate. Then the eyes of both of them were opened. They knew that they were naked, and they sewed fig leaves together and made themselves coverings. Genesis chapter 3, verses 4 to 7. The devil is a lying liar who lies. He is the father of lies and a sweet talker who will present something as good which is definitely not of God. Eve looked at the food and saw that it was good and that it would give her wisdom so that she would be like God. Then she gave it to her husband, Adam, to eat. He had received instructions from God Himself not to consume this fruit. We know that he who finds a wife finds a good thing, but this good thing, who did what she thought was a good thing, led to a bad thing for her and her husband, along with humanity. We are still suffering from their decision to eat what they thought was good, but was not God's will. Thankfully, Jesus, who was of God, understood his purpose and was wise to Satan's schemes. From that time, Jesus began to show his disciples that he must go to Jerusalem and suffer many things from the elders and chief priests and scribes, and be killed, and be raised the third day. Then Peter took him aside and began to rebuke him, saying, "Far be it from you, Lord, this shall not happen to you." But he turned and said to Peter, "Get behind me, Satan. You are an offense to me, for you are not mindful of the things of God, but the things of men." Matthew chapter 16, verses 21 to 23. Can you imagine Peter pulling Jesus aside to tell him that he should not fulfill God's plan? He thought he was doing a good thing, but again, this would have been a bad thing for humanity. We need to realize that a decision that we believe is good may not be God's will and could be a bad thing for generations to come. We need to know Christ and his ways intimately to understand when the enemy is coming with something good to take us out of God's purpose for our lives. Never be complacent, as that leaves an open door for the enemy. Let's see what the Christian author Oswald Chambers says about this. The great enemy of the life of faith in God isn't sin. It's the good which isn't good enough. The good is always the enemy of the best. Many of us fail to progress spiritually because we prefer to choose what seems right instead of relying on God to choose for us. We have to learn to walk according to the standard which keeps its eye on God. The good is the enemy of God's best for us. When we're looking at what is good, we may be taking our eyes off God. We must also be careful because the devil may send people into our lives who may look godly, but are in fact wolves in sheep's clothing. It is important to surrender to God and let Him show us what to do, even though it may not make sense to us or to those around us. God's choice may not seem pleasing, but it is the best. Remember, God does not always choose comfort and convenient for us, and our struggles may be ordained by Him. The devil will offer us the pleasures of life, which may seem good, but leads to separation from God. For this reason, what is good could be our greatest enemy.